play something for you real quick, and then we'll get started right away.
Makes you wanna go. Makes you wanna go. Na, 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 na.
All right. Every now and then, I like to add a twist to the beginning. Oh, hello, Mickey G. How are you today?
I'm excited to be here. I love the music vibe. Don't change it.
But I like to switch up.
Yeah, change is good.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Well, I thank you also for taking the time out to get here. I know you had a lot to do. Waking us up this morning.
Amen. I agree.
All right, everyone. And we also want to thank you for stopping by to look at guests that you could have been and you decided to see what we're talking about. So we appreciate it. Also, we are sponsors for Golden Swan Cadre, which is kind of what we like to do as far as give back to women helping women. And so we would solicit your donations for that. If you would visit our website at www.impact that we make in the community, they start their single family journeys. What we do is a big thing and give us more than that, but we will not turn down a dollar because every dollar adds up to 100 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so forth. So we're really grateful for what we can get, and we appreciate that. Today, because we decided to talk about, consider ourselves at home behind closed doors. It involves how they treat others and how they handle life challenges. A lot of times when you feel very challenged, your true demeanor will come to people and talk to people to be respectful and considerate. A classy person treats others with kindness and respect, and you kind of treat people, or you should treat people or deal with situations the way that you would want someone to come to you with that same situation, regardless of the status or background of the person. They practice empathy, listen attentively, and are mindful of the feelings and perspectives of other people. regardless, or that person that you are, and relay that to the other person. Is that just something I should feel within myself and keep going? Because I have to consider their feelings and have empathy for them. What do you
Right.
think about my perspective on that?
I get it. I also, you should consider happy for other people.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's part of being classy, but that should be part of being a human. And knowing what to say and when to say it is part of
Yes.
wisdom, you
Yes.
know, and you grow in wisdom. And when you, I suppose, a classy person, you seek wisdom
Yes.
and operate in such a way that you can treat other people well. It just, it's just, there's no reason to be rude,
Right.
There's no
And if
reason.
we find ourselves in that humanity, which we all are, as you just said, being short or maybe saying something in a way that maybe we could have said it better, okay?
Right.
Being human and living in humanity allows you to go back and say, you know, I really meant to say this, even though I said it that way. I didn't explain it the way that I really meant it. Now it's left up to the other person to accept and receive what you're saying. Because sometimes people would think, no, you meant it the way you said it. But sometimes we say things and it comes out differently than what we really wanted to come out as, what we really wanted to.
Apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Humility is a great
It
part
takes,
of it. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
indeed. Well, being respectful and considerate, like you said, is part of being classy. A
Mm-hmm.
classy person treats others with kindness and respect, regardless of status or background.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you're graceful under pressure. Classy individuals maintain impulsively but handle stress, conflict, or adversity with patience and poise. So, way it's more impulsive and handling a stressful situation is not doing things that are volatile decisions and how you handle every situation. So I think that's part of classiness as human.
And we'll continue this in just a moment. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Hello, hello, hello. Catch the vibe. This is Golden Bronze, as you know. I am the host, director, producer of Gab with Golden Bronze. And I am coming here to this afternoon. I'm so excited to share some information. We will have entrepreneurs. We will have authors, small business people. We will be doing all kind of great stuff this season. So I wanted to come and share that with you, that you can expect something new. To tell you, though, that we are a family focused TV, radio, podcast that is rated G, covering topics from A to Z. As I often say, anything goes on Gab Golden Bond, breaks and entertainment. We have decadent desk travel, the places that I already have in my from the life episode unlocks fat and how to build. Lastly, we have our topic day, where we will have more than myself talking about random topics. We will have guests, co-hosts, and we will have rotating co-hosts. Sharing and engaging in the conversation. GN app from your Apple store if you have an Apple phone, and if you're Android, find us in the Google Play Store. You can hear the podcast version currently every change. Meanwhile, you can see us on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and share. Hit that notification button so every time we go live, you'll be notified. We really would appreciate that kind of support for real if you would just subscribe and listen to our YouTube channel. And catch us there when you can't catch us on the radio, and when you can't catch us on the online radio box online, you can always catch us on YouTube. And I would like to say in advance, thank you for doing that. That is very much appreciated. Thank you so much. For the commercial break, a lot of times people may say, and I've heard it before, well, I don't like the way you do X, Y, and Z. That's not classy. maybe know that there's displeasure. That's not a classy way to convey that to them. It could make them defensive, or I would think is to simply say, you don't have to like the way that I do it or whatever, but this is the way that I choose to do it. That's a classy response to me.
Right.
And
Right.
in doing, relaying your information to that person that way is also polite by saying it that way. It's not lashing back out. Like some people wait to attack. Some people hear you to react, and they're not responding, to your what you say. So classy. It all involves having language and, being mindful of social etiquette. You don't have I, I,
How you say it.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
what
you
I
could
meant
say,
by being well mannered. Yeah,
right, right. You could say, you don't have to like the way I did stuff, but this is the way, that's one
yeah,
thing. Or say, you really don't have to like that.
exactly. That's the
I
point I was
appreciate your
making.
feedback. Yeah.
Mhm.
But you like
You don't
that, you
really
should let
have
me know your opinion.
yeah, yeah, share.
There's They have a quiet self assurance and are comfortable in their own skin, yet they remain modest and humble, never seeking to outshine or belittle others.
Right,
That's very important. I mean,
right,
we're all humans. Why look down your nose at the next person? You can feel confident in who you are without belittling the next person.
right.
I've seen people brag about certain things in the space of a person who doesn't have as much. And I don't know if it makes them feel like they're important or they're bigger or something to put their thumb on the person next to them. It makes them look smaller when they do that.
Now I have something to say about that. I think I think people should be very proud, not proud, but
Right, right,
should be able to state their accomplishments. And they
right,
shouldn't have to belittle themselves or dumb themselves down to make somebody else feel confident. Now,
right.
if the other person feels intimidated by this person stating what they do, like if they're, I'm this, that's one thing. But if you're just stating your lifelong accomplishments, you should be proud of that. And it's not your problem if somebody is intimidated by it. If it's something that you just, say on purpose to
Mm,
belittle that person, then I agree with you 100%.
yeah,
But everybody has a journey, and there's always somebody smarter than us. There's always somebody with more degrees. There's always somebody with more money and
right,
clout and
right.
stuff like that than all of us, except for one person is the richest person, that's Elon Musk. But other
Yeah,
than that, I think that people should not be afraid to say what they've accomplished, because that's something to be proud of. And you can't help it if somebody else feels belittled by it. That's their problem, not the
yeah.
person that is saying, in my life, or reading their bio. We see a lot
Right,
of bios that are 5 pages long, and we know those people have a lot of confidence
right,
in what they do,
right.
and then you see people that will send you a paragraph, and sum up in a paragraph, what they've done for 30 years. So
Right.
it's a perception. It's how that person perceives it that is hearing it. But
Right.
boastfully, I agree with you 100% if it's boastfully. But
Right.
just
That's what I
stating
mean.
what I've done in my life or what you've done in your life, no, I don't think you have to dumb that down. I used
Yeah.
to think I had to dumb it down. If somebody goes, you don't have to say this, you don't have to say that, and then I would feel bad. And then somebody else said to me, well, why can't you say it? That's exactly what your life was like, know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And really, I was talking about being boastful, and to show up in a certain way that may make you uncomfortable,
Mhm.
but
But that's your
that,
problem.
like you said, that's the have-nots. Oh, I
Mhm.
had this wonderful feast, and this person, they're covered to bear. You know, you boast in yourself just to make that person feel smaller, but really you're the smaller one. That's all I was saying about that.
Right. And you introduce people, and then when they hear it themselves, we've heard it more than once. Wow, really feels accomplished.
Right.
Well, yeah, it is, but when you hear somebody else say it about you, it resonates like I have really done a lot. Not
Right.
me personally, but
Right.
whoever's bio
That
we're
person.
reading,
Right. Right.
So it makes the person that has made those accomplishments feel really good to hear somebody else talk about them in that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. We do know people that will tell you 20 times, look at my diamond, look at mine, looky, stuff like that. We know those kind of people.
Yeah.
Or look
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
my choker, or you know
Yeah.
what I'm
Or
saying.
my car, or my
Yeah,
house.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So yeah, that is a little rude to do things like that to people. Be compassionate. That is part of being classy, is being compassionate and caring about other people in this world. Just
You
besides yourself.
remember when I said right before you, sometimes what we think may not always be necessary to verbalize it. That's what I meant. You might think one thing, but we'll be right back and I'll tell you what
Okay.
the other thing that you do is.
Okay. All right.
All right, we're back. So I have told my children everything that you think doesn't always have to be verbalized. That's what I meant by that. Whether it's about yourself or someone else, sometimes it's best to say nothing. You can think whatever you think is between you and God, but what comes out of your mouth then should be considered to be classy, and not rude and abrupt and
Right.
hurtful. And
Right.
that You still have to be authentic, or should be authentic and honest. Classy individuals value integrity and authenticity. They are they are honest in their dealings with themselves and with other people. They keep their word. Whatever it is that person commits to doing, that person should keep their word. And there's oftentimes people will say, I'll do this, I'll do that, and they agree and never show up, never do it, never. You get to the point
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, I'll go ahead and do it because I know that's how it's going to get done, is if I
Right.
do it. But a classy person will keep their word. That's part of integrity. And they will avoid gossip and dishonesty. Well, we're not all dishonest, but at some point we all do a little gossip. We see a lot of podcasts is just pure gossip. When you talk, whether it's good, gossiping is good too. I mean, you can just talking about somebody is gossip, but it could be good gossip. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be bad gossip. So that's why I said we're all guilty of that. We talk about even the good things that we know about. Girl, did you know she's getting married? Seen her fiance or her, so that's good
Yeah.
gossip, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Classy people stand up for what is right without being confrontational. A lot of times when things happen, you might subconsciously feel like, I want to say this to that person or that to that person. But a classy person will let it ride. They'll
Right.
just let it slide. Let it ride, let it slide.
Hmm, that's interesting. You can just observe it and keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Ain't that
Yeah,
what I always say? Keep
yeah,
moving.
keep it moving. And I thought about something you were talking about, the integrity. One of my biggest pet peeves is someone promising me they're going to be someplace or do someplace and they don't. They don't show, they don't call, they don't tell you ahead of time, oh, I thought I could do that, but I can't. They just disregard you and don't do anything. And so you're left wondering, you're counting on someone to do something. Or if you're cooking dinner and people are supposed to be over by 7 o'clock and they don't show up at all, but they don't even call you.
Yeah, that's
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 classless.
that's a whole different
Yeah.
description. That is
Yeah.
beyond. That's just disrespectful.
It is. It is. But classy people keep their word.
Right, you're
People
right.
who are not classy, they do not. And perhaps they didn't intend to in the first place.
And you know what? A classy person will, if running into difficulty, say, hey, I'm running 30 minutes late or an hour late. Do you still want us to come to dinner?
Right.
And this is what happened. And they will offer an authentic explanation. I had a car wreck, or my mother got sick, or my kid had an issue and I had to take care of it. And we are all, not all of us, but some of us are mothers, sisters, daughters, or whatever, and we know life happens. So we have to have that grace for other people. And a classy person with no problem, go ahead and take care of what you have to take care of. And if it's too late, we'll do it another day. And that classy person is not going to get upset because that other person had enough respect to call them and say, this is what happened. I'm not going to be able to show up for you today, but this is why. Yeah, that's
Right.
a classy person to do that as well.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So, you know, this reminds me of Golden Swan Cadre, the thoughtfulness and generosity.
Yes.
So, being generous with your time, your resources, or praise is a hallmark of class. Classy people are thoughtful, often going out of their way to uplift others, offer support, and make someone feel valued. And
Yes.
that's even what we do in our advocacy. We think about others, and we try to be very generous as we can, with whatever donations we're able to acquire, and we're thoughtful of others.
Yes.
And so we uplift we uplift each other, and
That we're all classy and elegant women, hoping that everybody knows what that definition really means
yeah,
and lives up to that expectation of what we
yes,
expect for each other. each Golden Swan Cadre member of the organization to be classy and elegant. And speaking of elegance in appearance, what about appearance? A classy person in how they themselves. That 24/7. You know, that this involves dressing appropriately for the grooming all the time and carrying themselves with good posture. You pay
Yes.
attention to how you're presented.
When
Right.
you're out in public, if you say, for example, let's say, I'm just going to use a movie star or something who's famous. You expect them to look a certain way when you see them in public. Now, they don't always do that.
That on purpose. Yeah.
Right, but you expect them to look a certain way when you see them, or the president or vice president
Yes.
or someone. You expect them to be in a suit. You expect them to be put together, and not running.
To the era of, I'm going to say way before my time, 20s and 20s to 50s. I love her. Do you know what I'm saying? They used
Yes,
to dress like they were going somewhere, but they were stepping out of their homes, going to the store with a dress on. Is Miss Golden Bronze, Miss Mickey G, and we'll
yes.
get into that.
My mind goes back to, okay, I'm dating myself, but these shows are in reruns. Give it to be.
Yeah.
She was a homemaker, but she was always dressed well. She had her pearls on all the time. Her husband Ward would come home. He'd have his fedora.
I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, just coming home from work, and he's dressed very well. And I remember seeing even shows like um, I Love Lucy, how they would go places and
Yes.
Lucy and all of them. They would be dressed in their suits, and then they would go out. They have their gloves.
Just let them fall all the way down.
Yeah, I actually saw that today. I saw a young man that was walking, and he was walking like this. Answer down there. Did you buckle it around your thighs for a purpose? So I tire of seeing that. And
But before
you
you move on, let me tell you this. There's a couple of, and I normally don't do this,
yeah.
but there's a couple of male groups around social media that dress very nicely and influences the younger generation to want to aspire to be like them, have some aspiration to be uh
Yes, I agree with you. And I've seen some of those gentlemen have younger men in suits. Gentlemen. And I,
yes,
I think that's wonderful.
I
There
do
was
too.
another point I want. If I'm old enough to be your mother, put a handle on it.
I know that's right.
Miss or Mrs. whatever, you don't call me by my first name unless I give you permission. Or if we're coworkers, that's a different thing or something
Right.
like that. But just coming to me like my children's friends, hey Mickey, how you doing?
Yeah,
Hello, Miss Mickey to you.
that's
You
right.
know, and that's a point of respect. You don't just even when people go to the doctor's office or you're calling the cable company or something, they address you by your first name instead of addressing you by your handle and your surname.
Wait,
You don't do that up there. But they said my mother's different. Don't call her by her first name. She didn't like that. Well, they told them, but the one of the things about being classy is being positive and uplifting. Classy individuals often exude positivity and optimism and help them find ways to be classy or help them find solutions to their lives, problems that they might be having. We're very, when classy people are, when they're classy, they're very uplifting to other dress alike. You never know,
yes,
so
yeah,
encourage
right.
uplifting. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. And as far as I heard you say, I pushed everybody out there in the front, tried to anyway, and give somebody a response so that they can shine,
Right. Right.
themselves. Now, you can't make anybody do anything, but when I first could be in the background,
Yeah.
and I just think God kind of just said, no, I want you in the front a little bit. You don't have to be out there by yourself, but I want to get go was try to give everybody or feel a part of it and
Right.
be uplifted in some sort of way,
Right.
and then praise them. This person did an amazing job with these event plans. This person speakers. Person
in that area to help the cadre
That's
and our
exactly what
cause.
I try to do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And we will be right back, everyone.
Okay.
Hello, hello, hello. Catch the vibe. This is Golden Bronze, as you know. I am the host, director, producer of Gab. We will have rotating co-hosts, guest co-hosts, new entertainers. We will have entrepreneurs. We will have authors, small rated G, covering topics from A to Z. As I often add with Golden Bronze, covering the whole spectrum of changing topics and entertainment. Simple and straight to the point. And in rotation, we have decadent destinations. Now, what is that? That's my list of travel. The place that I already have in my itinerary. Random topics. We will have guest co-hosts and we will have rotating co-hosts. A better version of yourself to live a next level life. You can also hear and watch Gab with Gold and Bronze, brought to you by Village Global Network Television and Radio, and listen to Gab with Gold and Bronze every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Time and 12 noon Eastern Time on VGN Radio, powered by Zeno FM with additional monitoring through online radio box, on show, culture show. Your next, this is near the Premier Apple Store if you have an Apple phone, and if you're Android, find us in the Google Play Store. You can hear the podcast version currently every Sunday at 12 noon Central Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time on PUS. Keep in mind, those are our app and on FM radio, PUSO, but that's subject to change anytime, but we'll still be there. Just find us and we'll let you know if it does change. Meanwhile, you can see us on YouTube at Gab with Golden Bronze and share. Hit by. If you on radio, if you can't catch us on the podcast on the FM station, you can always catch us anytime on YouTube. But coming soon, we will be coming soon to a TV network on your tube. So stay tuned for that. Please again, what really would help us and what I really, really appreciate if you would subscribe to Gab with Golden Bronze on the YouTube channel and catch us there when you can't catch us on the radio and when you can't catch us on the online radio box online, always catch us on YouTube. All right, we are back. We are back. And in order to be positive and uplifting, you also have to be mature and emotionally intelligent. Of course, we know that classy people are maturity and tact. And oftentimes, a classy person will let something resonate, sink in. Why did they really do this? And the words of my mouth would be acceptable to you guys, not
Right.
how I or to whatever, but this is me talking, how I deal with it. Help me convey to them appropriately, or let my actions be appropriate to you. If I don't verbalize it, let how I react to it be acceptable. Sight, not my sight, your sight, and pray on it and give it a day or two. And usually it will come with me. Do this, do that, do this. And I know because I didn't respond or react immediately and that I took it to prayer, that whatever is brought back to me is exactly what I should do. And that's how I navigate myself through situations like that. I think that everybody, period, in the world, like you said once before, just humanity should do that. Of course, we know they don't do that because we have the Karens in the world and we have the Kenneths in the world that are just feeling a sense of entitlement. And when they feel that sense of entitlement, they say whatever they feel it's okay for them to say, not what they think that they would want you to say to them. And I'm talking about just ordinary people. They feel they're in a position, and you mentioned earlier, it shouldn't matter your position. I think you came out the gate with that. It shouldn't matter your status. It shouldn't matter your color. It shouldn't matter how you physically look or your position in life, how you respond to people. And so classy people have that emotional intelligence, meaning that they will think before they speak, and they will use some sort of intelligence in how they respond to situations. And everyone doesn't have that emotional intelligence. Should try to anyway.
Yes, I agree with you. And I was listening to the words that you used in the beginning about reacting to something there's a difference between reacting and responding. And I think you can react in a second like that. But when
Yes.
you respond, you take time to assess the situation,
Right.
assess what the other person is feeling or thinking or what they're saying. You take a beat, as they say,
Yes.
and you avoid unnecessary drama. That could stir up some drama if you react in a way that's not pleasing or that's adversarial. Then there's
Right.
drama that could have been avoided. And so when you're classy, you try to avoid all dramatic situations like that.
Yep. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
yeah. So if you're culturally aware and well informed, that's a sign of being a classy person.
Yes, ma'am.
And a classy person often values personal growth and education. And they stay informed about the world, engage in meaningful conversations. They appreciate the arts, culture, and deeper aspects of life. You know, being engaged in the world, knowing about your surroundings and how other people live and different cultures. To me, that's very interesting. I I want to know. I'm a student of life. I'm a student of the world. And so I don't like to be in idle conversations, just about nothing. That takes
Right.
time. I like meaningful conversations and not just texting each other conversation with coffee or tea.
I agree with you. And most people in life like people that can engage in conversations besides what's going on in the P. Diddy world or
Yeah,
whatever, for
yeah,
lack of a better example. But
yeah,
when you can sit down and talk about, politics intelligently, not
right.
just rambling, you can tell the difference when somebody has knowledge about what they're speaking about or if they're just rambling. And people enjoy the company of people that can engage in meaningful, substantial conversations about all kinds of different things,
Mhm.
about culture, like you said, different countries, the arts, uh, just everything other than what the social media blogs are engaging in.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
can tell if it's superficial or if you really have that keen insight to about what you're talking about. I know I've talked to people, and you probably have too, when I'm sitting there going, boy, this person is just rambling and not making any sense at all. I really wonder, if they know what they're talking about because they're
yeah,
doing these run-on sentences
right.
from one topic to the other, and it's not coming together. It's not making sense. I'm having trouble following them. What are they talking about? You know,
Yeah,
you can tell the difference in that as
yeah,
someone who is having a meaningful conversation. Yeah.
right, right.
That's a classy person.
Yeah, and a lot of times when people just ramble on like that, they don't have an informed conversation. They're just going off of emotion, not information. So when they
Right.
do their homework, they can speak more intelligently about any subject.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm specifically speaking about, I agree with you
yeah,
1000%.
yeah,
I'm specifically speaking about like when you're out in public, someone sits down to try to impress you and they're all over the building. And you're sitting there like, what are they talking about? They went from here to there to there, from A to Z to
yeah,
M. I'm
yeah,
lost. And
yeah.
then you don't know how to respond because they're just rambling.
Yes,
That's
yes.
not a classy person, people.
Mhm.
What do you call them kind of people, Mickey?
Classless, maybe oblivious, maybe. But
Okay. Hey,
you
listen.
can,
Okay.
okay. Speak about what you know. They should say, speak what you know and let the rest of it go.
Yeah,
I ascribe to that.
I agree. I agree. Yes. So, in essence, being a classy person is about demonstrating character, kindness, self respect, respect for others. It's a way of carrying oneself with dignity, with making others feel respected and valued. That's what in essence, being classy is all about.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. And it's not necessarily a stretch.
right.
Anyone can do that. Anyone can take on the character of classy. Watch someone that you think is classy and try to emulate, or if you have questions, ask them, how did you know these things? Oh, I went to TED Talks, and then you can teach someone else to do the same thing when they're engaging with others. That makes you a little bit more interesting.
That is so true. And so I thank you, Mickey, for engaging in this conversation with me about being classy,
Mhm.
or what is classy to me and you. Um,
Yes.
it makes for good conversation, and maybe it did help somebody out there um, in TV world who doesn't really know the difference in classy and bougie.
Right.
Okay, because
Right.
sometimes being classy may make a person seem bougie, but they're not at all. They were just raised or went to etiquette school,
Mhm.
or learned how to carry themselves, or their parents taught them. Their mother, specifically if it's a woman, taught her daughter how to carry herself at home and in public. And so I appreciate your input. I welcome everybody to come see us here on Gab with Golden Bronze. I'm going to ask my co-host to wrap it up, and we hope to see you back tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we had this conversation. It really expands our thinking and expands the way we live, and I think it was a really good conversation. Now, let's handle some business. Gab with Golden Bronze is a proud sponsor of Golden Swan Cadre. So if you would like to donate to this cause, I'm going to share with you some ways to do it. If you have the Chime app, enter $ Golden Swan. The G, the S, and the C are capitalized, and that way you find us. PayPal, look for the Golden Swan Cadre at gmail.com. You may go to our website, www.goldenswancadre.com. As a matter of fact, just look through our website to see what we're doing. There's a lot of information there, as well as a way to donate. In social media, go to Instagram and visit the charity section to find the official _ Golden Swan Cadre. In Facebook, also visit the charity section and find Golden Swan Cadre. Join us in making a positive impact today for such a worthy cause and these worthy women starting their lives over again.
Thank you so much. And that's a wrap. I don't need to say anything else, but come back tomorrow and see us here on Gab with Golden Bronze on the DuPont TV network. We'll see you then. Have a
Bye.
great day.